going on? Welcome to Goddess of Many Faces. Okay. I'm absolutely so excited. I feel so great. I hope you guys hear me very well because let me tell you something. It is freaking a heat wave in New York City, and I just found that out yesterday when I went outside after being, under the weather for about 5 days. So I'm just so excited to feel good. Like who gets sick in the summertime? You feel me? So I had so much stuff planned. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna do some summer ween. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna go out, and your girl got sick. And I'm like, oh my goodness. And I was gonna actually come live. Like actually I did a video and I put the video up. I was feeling much better, but hopefully this quality sounds better because yesterday it was like I said, it was a heat wave. Okay. It was big, it was extremely hot outside. You feel me? It was so hot. I had the AC on and I didn't have no microphone, nothing. I just went live talking or whatever. Well, actually, I didn't go live. I'm sorry. I did a video because I was feeling much better. I was going to do a video, but I'm like, I don't want to be just coughing and coughing and coughing on the video on the live. That's like I'm already not showing my face already because this is the blackout session. The blackout session, like yo, it's just audio, straight audio, getting to the point, you know, talking about what I want to talk about. But yeah, so I'm so excited about feeling good. And I'm sorry if you guys hear the AC in the back, but listen, it is hot. You feel me? I'm not trying to be sweating and stuff, you know what I'm saying? Trying to talk about something. Like, nah, I'm good. Cause if I was on the camera, you guys would hear it. Hopefully you guys don't hear it because I got my microphone on. So let's get into the topic. So like, girl, these dreams have been off the chain. You know what I'm saying? I don't, like I said, I've been under the weather. The doctor prescribed me medications. I've been on that. I'm not gonna say what medication I'm on. I was still on. But and I had some over the counter medication, right? Trying to fight this bug. I'm like, yo, who gets sick in the summer? Like, you feel me? So I'm like, I did a lot of sleeping and stuff. Um, you know, and these dreams have been like off the chain, like straight up and down. Be like, listen, this flying, like you guys know, like if you have been listening to my my videos and stuff like that, then like me, when I go into the dream realm, especially when I have lucid dreams, yo, I love flying. Like that's my thing. Like, listen, I love flying. That's like the best part, like of having a lucid dream and you're aware that you're dreaming and shit. Um, I want to fly. You know what I'm saying? Among doing other activities that we're not going to discuss here. You feel me? On this public platform, but flying and really jumping high, like really like jumping high, jumping from buildings to buildings. Yo, that shit is like the best thing in a dream. Like, you feel me? Like your girl was on it. Like, listen, I even go to my bedroom on this one. Like my bed still made, you know what I'm saying? Still look how it would look or whatever. Yo, I was out here in the living room sick on my couch, yo. I could never when I was a kid. Like, you know what I'm saying? My mom's was on some, listen, you nobody go in the living room type of energy. You go in the living room, don't sit on my couch, sit on the floor, like that type of shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? The living room was for show. But in my house, listen, the living room is the meeting up place. We hanging out in the living room, we eating, we chilling, we sleeping on the couch. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Ain't none of that, oh, don't sit on my couch. Listen. Yo, I was on this couch, you know. I also was watching some reruns. Well, I call it reruns. It's not really reruns. Well, you know what I'm saying? I was watching Netflix Stranger Things. I actually got into it and it was talking about comparing the Stranger Things, like, to the Astral Realm, especially season 4. I feel like season 1 and season 4 is like the best. Like, yo, I don't know. I just like those 2 seasons. I don't know. Season 1, season 4 to me is good, but overall the show is good. You know what I'm saying? So I pretty much was on the couch laying down, watching TV or whatever and fighting this whatever this shit was. It felt like the flu. That's what that shit felt like. You feel me? Like, who gets sick in the summertime? But anyway, get into this dream realm shit, right? And then, like, the medication, because the medication that I brought over the counter was like, you know, uh, Dayquil and NyQuil. So I would go in between with the Dayquil, because with the NyQuil, I'm not trying to be sleeping and stuff like that all the time. But at the end of the day, like when you feel horrible, you coughing, you know what I'm saying? You just want something to knock you out. Like, so I even go front. Like I took some NyQuil. So, to me, when I take NyQuil, I use it, right. Then I get sleepy. Then you wake up and you still feel tired and groggy and shit like that. So I had went to sleep, and this particular dream that I had, it was so weird. Like, yo, I'm telling you, son, like the shit was just like, first of all, it wasn't a lucid dream because in a dream, I didn't know I was dreaming. You feel me? So it was like, it was just a regular straight up dream, point blank. Um, I know with me, like I want to enter the dream world like with my consciousness so I can have a little bit more like of control with it, right? Because like I told you, like with the lucid dream, I'm ready to fly. Like I'm ready to fly, I'm ready to jump, I'm ready to, what I'm saying, have fun pretty much. Like that's what I'm on. But I don't know, this particular dream, like I don't know if it was the medications. I don't know what it is because I told you guys um I tried to the mud work. I drunk it, but I didn't even use it as a I didn't even use the charcoal yet, like the what is it called? Like the mud work, that's what they say that's good for dreams. And you drink it. First of all, it's bitter as hell. It's just like, yo, it's mad bitter. I don't know. Like, and I put some honey in it. That shit ain't do nothing. But I didn't put it on a charcoal yet to burn it. Like, I don't know. So I didn't try that yet. And of course, if I'm under the weather, ain't nobody trying to do all that. Like, you listen, the first few days, it felt like I was going to die, son. I was like, yo, I was about to write a will. Like, yo, am I about to, you know what I'm saying? Is this it? You feel me? The summer beginning, I'm like, I had all these plans. And then it was like, yo, it was like something was like, yo, sit your butt down. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why all the time, the summertime, it's always some shit. Like, it's always some shit where I'm like being forced to just sit down or being forced to be in isolation. And I noticed that. Like, that's something with me right now. Like, I'm reflecting, like, damn, I'm always in this thing where I say to myself, like, I make out plans and stuff like that. Like, all right, my summer's gonna be this way. I'm gonna be working. I'm gonna be focusing on projects. Um, been focusing on like redoing my home, the redecorations, and you know how you set out plans and goals and stuff like that for yourself, because especially like when you have a lot of stuff going on, or when you have distractions, I may say, like all these damn distractions. So it's like I don't have no, in this particular time in my life, I have no distractions unless the distractions that I create for myself. Or you know how when somebody try to start like little drama and shit like that, or try to like put you in some drama that you never was in. Because I feel like when people come to you and talking about other people, like, first of all, I'm at this age, like, don't get it twisted. Like, you know how some people just love tea and gossip. I don't know. It's just it's this society that is just like, I don't know. It's something about gossip that's just like the latest thing, and everybody's doing it. And I'm not knocking it. Like, yo, do what you want to do, right? But sometimes, like, that stuff just get like, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes that shit could fog up what you got going on for yourself. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it could just fog up your tracks. Like, instead of you focusing on what you need to focus on, or be in a direction, go in a direction you need to go in, someone's trying to focus your attention to something that's not even going to be conducive in your life. Like, they trying to knock off your thought pattern or what you got going on so you can focus on the BS. Especially when you trying to get your life together, or trying to you know, like, create another career for yourself. Um, you just got out of a breakup. You know what I'm saying? You raising children. You feel what I'm saying? Like, you got you just trying to do something different. You know what I'm saying? Like, and then, people try to come to you with all this damn drama and stuff. And I'm be like, yo, I don't even want to hear that. Like, and it's like, it's kind of like weird in a way, because it's like, when you have people just come to you and provide unsolicited um stuff, like they trying to give you the latest tea that you ain't asked for. And I'll be sitting there like, why is this person coming to me telling me this? But you know how you just don't want to be rude, and you just be like, oh, you sit there, especially if you like one of the people who just like, you know, uh don't want to speak up and shit, like don't want to be conflict, like don't want to cause any conflict or anything like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you just sit there and listen and shit. But sometimes when you sit there and listen, and you don't want to listen, and you having a bad day already, and you just trying to get through the day or whatever, somebody comes to you, you could explode. So, like, I don't know. I just feel like just telling people straight off the back, like, I don't want to hear that shit. Like, I don't know why you coming to me with this shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't even know why I put that up, yo. Dang. Like, yo, so like, this is crazy. Like, I was supposed to be talking about the dream realm. Oh yeah, like people knocking you off your shit or whatever, right? Redirecting you and stuff, right? But I guess I brought that up because I'm like, I had my little intro to the summer planned out. Then, you know what I'm saying, your girl got sick. You know what I'm saying? See, I'm about to start talking about 2 years ago. I'm about to go back in time for a minute. Like, yo, the whole summer. Like, listen, I ain't even talk about this. Like, yo, the whole summer. Like, I had the beginning. It was even in spring. Yo, in the springtime, I got into a horrible car accident, a horrible car accident. The whole summer, I kid you not, was on the couch, yo, because I had fractured my toe. So I don't want to say I was getting flashbacks to that. I was getting a little PTSD. Like, damn, my summer gone. Like, you know what I'm saying? I was just like, dang, yo, it's always some summer shit. But then it's just like, because then I really had to sit down. And then also I had to, at that time, I had to, like, I couldn't, say I had to start eating right and shit. Like, I'm a foodie. I'm plus size already, but I wasn't trying to, let that 3 months have me, on some, like, my 600 pound life type of shit. So I had to, you sitting there, you can't do that much exercise, walking around, doing that much moving around, right? Um, and then also you can't sit there and like indulge in food, especially if you are you stressing, you going through shit. So you just got to be like kind of, I had to be mindful of what I was eating. Of course I ate some of the things that I enjoyed, but I couldn't like OD. You feel me? Cause I was just like, I'm not really like I love my size, and I'm not like, oh yeah, I'm against, plus size and like, overly obsessing about losing weight. But I'm like, yo, if you have to be sitting down because you have fractured your foot, then you have to, it's not that much mobility that you're able to do. You feel what I'm saying? So I had to be conscious of what I was eating and stuff like that. And so, that kind of like, it was a little bit of a Debbie Downer, like the whole damn summer on a couch be. That shit was like the worst thing ever. Like, I don't even think I went online and I spoke about that. So I think like these past like 5 days of me being sick, it kind of like made me feel a little bit of that energy, I should say, or whatever. And even back then, I don't even think I was like focused so much on dreams or nothing like that. It was just like um, uh, this thing. But uh I just remember somebody was like, well, God is trying to show you something, or trying to sit you down. You know how people with their religious views and shit like that, they try to like, get you to think, get to direct your mind in a certain place. But it's not even really them trying to direct your mind in a certain place. It's just that they know some shit that you don't know. You know what I'm saying? You know how when you in a relationship with a dude and you under the perception like, yo, this relationship is good. We have everything going, like, you know what I'm saying? But really the nigga ain't shit. I'm sorry, let me not say that. The man is not the man is not who he say he is. Let me say it like that, okay? Okay, let me take it back. I am live, okay? I mean, I'm talking like as if I was, in a room talking to my homegirls. But let me rephrase that. Like when a man is not honest or trying to uh have you under the perception of who he's not. Like he's giving you the life that you want, but also giving himself the life that he want, which is you and a whole bunch of other women or men, I should say. I don't know what people be into. I'm just saying, right? But he's, making sure you're good in terms of making you believe that, he's faithful and he's the man that you think he is, but then ultimately he's really, not 100% that person. You know what I'm saying? He got you thinking he faithful, but everybody in the streets know that, you know what I'm saying, he's sleeping with everybody else. Right? And nobody's gonna say nothing to you because they see you kind of wrapped up in your fantasy and how that is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you wrapped up in this fantasy or whatever lifestyle you guys created for yourselves. You know what I'm saying? He could have you in a house, you know what I'm saying? You a stay at home wife, you know what I'm saying? Financially he's taking care of you, or maybe not. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, you working, he working, and but everything is good. You know what I'm saying? It's not like he beating you up or being a physically abusive or verbally abusive. Like everything is just copacetic, but you know what I'm saying? Come to find out, he got a double life. He got like, you know what I'm saying, two other chicks on the side that he got pregnant, and he got kids, and they live right down the block, and everybody in the hood know, everybody in the suburbs know, everybody in the, you know, whatever community you live in knows, but you just don't know, right? And so that person who knows that, who see you, you know what I'm saying, in a house alone, or you in a house alone all the time and stuff like that, and they see you, and so they come to you and just be like, oh, well, Well, maybe he is working late. Maybe he do got another job, or you know, uh, say, let's say something happened, and they just say some shit to you, like, oh, well, maybe God is trying to show you something. Maybe God wants you to be more home more often to show you something. Like they say it in a way, like some secret, like it's some secret shit you don't know about. You know what I'm saying? Maybe God is trying to open your eyes to some shit. You know, I don't know. I think about this show. It's called Kings of Queens, right? I think it's called Kings of Queens. It's about this married man and his married woman. They live together. I'm sorry, it's married couple who live together, and they got the grandfather who lives there. I don't know who father it is. It's either the wife's father or the husband father. I don't know. But they see that he's alone. So they they see that, like, yo, they like, oh, he's older, he don't got no friends, he's always alone. So they got this woman to, like, like, take him out, like, I guess a home health aide or whatever like that. But he doesn't know that they hired somebody to, spend time with him. He think that's his friend. He low key really think that's his friend, right? And every day she would take him to this park. Every day she would take him to this park, right? And so, they would talk and stuff like that, and as the days go, the days get older, whatever, like, as time goes by, I guess the girl started feeling bad, like, yo, I'm coming over here every day and taking him to this park, and he really think, like, we friends and stuff like that, right? And then one day she tried to tell him without telling him, like, yo, they hired me and stuff like that. And she like, but won't you just look around, right? And he looking around. He don't know this shit, right? But when she look around, they just showing all these people in the parks playing with dogs. Like, what I'm saying? Like, low key, like, they hired somebody to take the grandfather to the dog park. So every day she going to the dog park with him, and he don't know. Like, he looking around, like, all right, I don't know what's going on. Like, what you talking about? Like, but from her perspective, it's like, yo, I'm taking you to a dog park. They showing, like, all of the people playing with their dogs and stuff like that. But he didn't get it. She like, yo, they hired me to walk you, like, to take you out and to spend time with you. We really not friends. Like, I'm getting paid for this. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't know that. He just thought that, you know what I'm saying, this was this younger woman who, wanted to be his friend genuinely, right? And I guess, like, as the days progressed and as she got to know him, he, started speaking to her, telling a story and stuff like that, of his life. And I don't know if he wanted to date her. I don't think they put that in the show or nothing like that. But she felt bad because it's like, here he think is a genuine friendship, but she getting paid for this. So he won't be alone. You feel what I'm saying? But, it's a matter of, like, the perspective and the perception of it. You know what I'm saying? And so that's pretty much what that shit was about. But it's like, you see what you really want to see. And it's kind of a little, with your perception a little bit. And sometimes with what people influence you on, right? Because, even when people selling you products and shit like that, they not really just selling you just the product, but they selling, like, it has to be something that's attached to, uh like, perhaps, like, a lifestyle, or they have to sell it to you, like, in reference to, like, family. You feel what I'm saying? They have to do something where it's attached to something that's intimate to you, or something that's like a certain type of vibe or some shit like that. Like you gotta have this shit type of thing. Like, you know, um, but yeah, so like as far as the sitting down part, I'm like, yeah, when she said that shit to me, it was just like, oh, okay. But it gave off a vibe or something like that. I'm just was like, okay, back then I feel like I was a little, I'm a grown woman, but I could say I was a little bit, naive in a sense, but it is what it is. But yeah, so but this time I've been really focusing on my dreams. And this particular dream um was in reference to flying. Now, flying and it's not just like flying like a bird, like yo, I got wings or some shit like that. It's just like really like floating in the air. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be like Superman type of energy or something like that. Cause like with the Superman, he don't have wings. He just project his mind, and like his hand go up, and then he has a cape and shit like that. So it's like it's kind of like that. You know what I'm saying? Because when people hear flying, they immediately probably like think of a bird. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe it's like, in these dreams, you're like a falcon or some shit like that, or like a crow or a pigeon. No, you just your regular self, and you just able to fly. But it's like you're projecting it with your mind in a sense. You feel me? Like either you could jump high or fly, and you're projecting your mind to it like you like a hmm like it's almost like if it's like if someone shoot a gun or something like that. You see how like the bullet is like straightforward. It's like you could project your mind and you go straight forward, straight up, right? But then what's crazy about this particular dream is like the energy of the people in this dream was just they was just some weird it was just some weird shit going on in that. And I noticed that every time, like with these flying dreams, like outside of no, even sometimes with the and any of you guys out there has ever had any type of flying dreams, let me know in the comments section. Definitely let me know what type of dream you had. You could do a response video, whatever. Um I got some juice. It was kind of like, well, now was juice. It was a frozen drink, but like I said, it's so hot. Even though I got the AC on, um the drink melted. So I'm like, it's still cold, but it's not like the icy. And I was gonna keep it in the freezer. But I'm like, I don't want to keep getting up, But I did low key want it to be frozen, so I probably should have put it in my thermal cup, because the thermal cup probably would have made it kept it frozen a little bit longer. But I wasn't even thinking about that. Um, Yeah, so with the dreams, if you guys are having a flying dream, let me know what it is, because I know I'm not the only one out there having these dreams. I know it's like billions of people out there. You feel me? So somebody gotta be having these dreams too. But anywho, so like I noticed that with this particular dream, it was a dream realm where the people didn't like people that flied. That was some crazy shiznick. Okay? I'm trying not to cuss. That was just crazy, like where the people didn't even like you to dream. I mean dream, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. They didn't even like you to fly. It was the most craziest thing. So I'm in this dream, and number one, like I said, it's not a lucid dream. You know what I'm saying? I'm not aware that I'm dreaming. So basically, it's like I'm in the dream. Like this is happening. This is, you know what I'm saying? Like as if this was a world of itself, but I wasn't conscious of it. I didn't bring my consciousness to this dream. Um, Number one, I feel like I said, I wasn't feeling good, so I'm on medication and stuff like that. So it's like I didn't go to sleep with any intentions and nothing like that. It's just like, yo, when the medicine hit, I was knocked out. It was straight like that. You feel me? So I'm like, so you just know that this is happening in real time, like it's a dream. But and the crazy thing about having these kind of dreams where you're not lucid, you know what I'm saying? And it's the fact that like sometimes you just kind of like adapt to it or you just uh escape it. So I'm sitting there like first of all, it was like this damn tube or some shit. It was like this weird It was like this weird warehouse shit that people was in. It was like a warehouse and it had like water in it. So it was like a world that was like in this warehouse because there was a whole world outside of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Because I found the window. I got it there. I got out of there ASAP. Like I had to get out of there. It was just like these people was just like so I don't know, like rigid or some shit. Like you can't fly, you can't do certain things. You know what I'm saying? Like they had their own rules and stuff like that. And then it was just like it was like different levels. It was like first of all it was like a big warehouse, right? But it was like different levels, but it was like big. It was almost like like how Yankee Stadium is. You know how Yankee Stadium is mad huge? I could say it was like really big, but it was just like a warehouse. And the reason why I explained it to be a warehouse is because when I had got out of there, that's when I realized that it was. But when I was inside of there, I didn't know it was that shit. You feel what I'm saying? Because I knew I was flying inside there, and I knew the girl was like, oh, you can't do that or whatever. And I'm like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of vibe I was on. I was like, I'm gonna do what I want to do. But and they was like, oh yeah, you can't fly. And it was like people of a different nationality than I am. Um, and then like when there was like it was just so weird. It was like once I don't know, like once I don't know, like I don't even want to talk about that part, like, cause I'm just like it was just so weird. It was first of all, it was people of a different nationality than what I am. Like, I was born and raised out here. You know what I'm saying? I'm not like um from like a different country or anything like that, but it was people of a different country in the dream who was like, "Oh yeah, oh yeah, you can't fly. They'll look down upon you if you fly." It was just like this, but I was still like flying and floating and stuff like that and stuff. They wanted you to be a certain type of way. You know what I'm saying? They wanted you to like stand still or stand at your post or like act how everybody else was acting. Then it was like once they had like these caskets that was like floating or some crazy shit. And that's when I was like, you know what? It wasn't even like it wasn't floating. It was just like stuck mid in the air, some shit like that. So what I don't understand is like they don't want people to fly and shit like that, but then they have like these caskets, you know what I'm saying? That's midway in the air, like you know what I'm saying? It was just weird. Right? I'm not gonna say who the nationality was. I'm just not gonna do it. I don't know why I just feel like I don't want to say what nationality this was. I just don't want to say it, yo. I just because I feel like it's just gonna make it. I don't know, like, but talk about transparency. I don't know why I don't want to say what this group of people was. What they, what I'm saying, was from a different country. You know, I just don't want to say it. Like that is so weird to me when it's just a dream. Like I just was like, nah. I guess low key I don't want to say it because I don't want to hear any superstitions or folklore. I feel like with this dream I had, I feel like it's attached to some type of folklore or some shit like that or something. I don't know. But all I know is like when I saw like those caskets, I mean it was like probably 1,000 of them. It was like they was all over the place. Just caskets in the air, like in rows in the air, right? Just caskets in the air. And I was thinking, like, how the hell you don't want people to fly or jump high? Well, point blank, just fly. But then you have these caskets that are in the air in this warehouse. That shit didn't make sense to me. It didn't make sense to me. Because at the end of the day, why couldn't that shit be underground? You feel me? I don't know, but I had to get the hell out of there. I saw an opening and the lady was like, "Oh, you shouldn't go." Like, or I fucking jetted out of that place. But then I went out of there, but then it was just like even outside of that warehouse, it was another thing. It was like the whole energy. It was like you're flying, right? You have the ability to fly, but the people's energy is pulling on you. So because they pulling on you, the the mental energy that causes you to fly is kind of like it was being how can I say it? So I like when I left out of there, I could fly, right? But it was not the way I was supposed to. It was not like a free and fly. Like you know how a bird they could just fly or whatever, but it was more so like you could feel somebody pulling at you. Like you know how when you all right, maybe I could give another example so you guys could understand where I'm coming from or whatever, right? So like let's say for instance, cause that's a dream. I was talking about a dream, but now I'm just gonna give like a present day example of what I'm talking about, right? Uh let's say for instance if you have like if you going for a job or something like that, right? No, let's say if you had let's say for instance, right? You was the type of person, right? That you like committed crimes or had a life of crime and you did bad stuff, right? But nothing so bad that you had to do like, that you couldn't uh rehabilitate yourself or some shit like that. I'm not promoting people doing bad. I'm just trying to give an example. Like let's say if you you had a bad upbringing and you ended up doing bad stuff, right? But then you say to yourself like, "You know what? I don't even want to be in that lifestyle no more. I want to change my life. I want to do better." Right? And so therefore like you go back to school, right? And you put yourself on a better path than you was. You started making different decisions and stuff like that, right? But then you have like a group of people who knew who you were before, right? And so they want to like kind of like tarnish your image, like talk about who you used to be or what you used to do, or try to like, hate on what you're doing, like anything that you say like you're doing positive. They want to always talk about when you wasn't doing nothing or when you was like living a life of crime or some shit like that. You know, they try to like tarnish your character or try to make you feel like you're not progressing, like you're not good enough, or you know, they haters. Right, it doesn't even have to be that. Let's say if you didn't even have a live a life of crime. Let's say you always just was the type of person to bop to your own tune or do your own thing, and you know what I'm saying, and you just have haters. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like you just got people that hate on you for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm pretty sure there's people like that's online doing stuff that they want to do, right? And then there's always like a troll or a person that always gotta say something negative that's trying to knock you off of your square or some shit like that, or trying to get your attention off of what you're focusing on. You know what I'm saying? And so going back to the dream realm, it was um like with the whole flying shit, like you trying to fly, like I'm trying to fly and shit, but yeah, I'm feeling the people's energy pulling me back down to the ground. Like this shit is crazy. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's just like with the flying dream, it was just like I'm flying and stuff like that, but it's just like all these haters, like everywhere. You know what I'm saying? It was just like some weird shit. Like the whole world in that dream world didn't want me to fly. Like it was just like, and I didn't see nobody else that was like, well, it was another person that was flying, but he was flying because I was trying to get to the other side. And so it was like this highway. Like I was trying, first of all, like when I had left that warehouse, I was like flying around different places and shit like that. But then it was like this guy, he was flying too or whatever. But then his whole thing was trying to fly to where I was at to tell me not to fly. That shit was just the weirdest shit. Like, you got the same capabilities that I have, right? But yet you trying to tell me that I'm breaking the law I'm breaking the law in a dream. What law in a dream? Like that shit was just the weirdest shit ever. Like, I'm telling you, that was just the weirdest dream. But I noticed that in a lot of my old dreams, like when I think about that past dream I had dreams back in the days where it was like that too. Where it was like it's always this world where you could fly. You have the ability to fly. You have the ability to do certain things, jump from different building to buildings, or do like extra supernatural powerful shit or whatever, like some superhero type of shit. And these people in this dream don't want you to do it. It's like somehow you breaking some type of street code or some law or some shit. And I'm like, what the hell is that all about? That drink was like, it was weird. It was weird. I don't know, like that is just the weirdest shit ever. Like, I don't know. But that was just so interesting to me, like for somebody to really try to stop you. And I'm like, I'm flying and stuff, and I'm trying to get away from this guy, and he just purposely following me to try to get me to stop flying. I'm like, what's all that about? And as you know, but it is what it is. That shit was crazy. Mm-mm. I'm gonna get to the bottom of that though. I'm definitely is. But you guys let me know if you guys have ever experienced a dream that's kind of like that, where it's like, certain stipulations, or like the people in the dream trying to like stop you from like trying to set certain rules and shit for you to follow and stuff like that. And that shit is just weird. Like I know it's just like, it's just my mind pretty much. It's your subconscious mind. And like I said, it's certain symbols, and it's pretty much for me to figure out, because I'm really not trying to ask nobody, oh, well, what does that mean? Or what does this mean? I'm just sharing an experience that I had, that I had to really um become conscious about, like, okay, well, because I wasn't aware in that dream. Like I said, a it was not a lucid dream. You know what I'm saying? Because with a lucid dream, you could kind of get down to the bottom of it. Of like, okay, or you could switch the scenario. Like you could literally go from being in your apartment to being in a motherfucking zoo or some shit like that. Like literally. You know what I'm saying? Like with the blink of your mind, like once you become lucid and you're in that type of dream where you could switch and change stuff. Now, like I was saying in the video that I posted the other day or whatever, well, yesterday, I think it was, or maybe this morning. No, this morning it was when I posted it because it was after midnight, I believe. Maybe it was whatever. Either way, it's online. It's on the Facebook, but the quality doesn't sound too good. But and that's when I was talking about how people could summons you to a dream, or some type of shit. Like, but I was thinking in terms of like with the Stranger Things, like even though that's a written movie and stuff like that, whatever. But with the girl in that movie with season 4, she wanted to help her friend Max, who was in danger from like another person that has the power that she has. You know what I'm saying? Like she has the capability of like moving things with her mind. She could actually invade people's mm, not invade their mind, but go into it and see what's going on, like go into a memory. um she could spy on people, see what they saying, but pretty much she just going into like a meditative state. But this other guy, he actually infiltrates the mind and could kill him, pretty much. Could kill him. He has some type of ability where he could do that, right? But like I was explaining this experience that I had, because I told you guys, like with lucid dream, I like lucid dreams because I could control it. Like once I know, like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. You know what I'm saying? I could do X, Y, and Z. I could do whatever I want to do, right? But I remember this particular dream. I'm not even gonna say how I ended up there, because that's neither here nor there. And then plus, I don't really want to go into that, like, you know. But I ended up in this living room. I was in this living room. And it's like, an old school type of living room, like, you know what I'm saying? Like you in your grandma house type of shit. Like, you know how when, you in the living room and they got furniture and then they put the plastic on the furniture. It was like one of those type of old school living rooms, right? So when I was in the living room, I'm like, I instantly became aware, like, oh shit, I'm dreaming. And so I became a little bit excited, like, damn, I could switch the dream. So I was trying to switch the dream. I was trying my best to switch the dream, to do that or whatever, and nothing was happening, yo. It was just like, yo, nothing was happening. And then it was like this long hallway. And so, mind you, but I just remember like I was myself, but then also seeing it from a different perspective. No, not a different perspective, a different view or some shit like that. So it was like a long hallway. And so I'm walking down the hallway, and then like on the right side of the wall on the hallway, there was like this altar. Excuse me. I hope I don't start coughing and stuff. So it was like all these candles, yo. It was so many candles. It was like as if you went to like a Catholic church and they have like the 7-day candles. So they was like all over that wall on the right side. So I'm like, there's a lot of candles. So I'm walking. And then like right across from like the where all the candles was, it was like a kitchen. And it was this guy shape shifting into different people. Like, I mean, literally shape shifting, right? And I was bugging out. I was just like bugging out. Because first of all, I'm already aware, like, yo, this is a lucid dream. I'm aware I'm dreaming, but I can't change the scenery. I could not change the scenery. Right. And, fast forward to now, I felt like that was like an astral travel, like being projected into now. But it was like a dream. It's a dream. You feel me? It was a dream, like some crazy shit. So I'm like, so the guy like shape shifting like into like different shit. You know what I'm saying? Different women and different people and stuff like that. And then I'm like, what am I doing here? Like what like what's like, I'm like, what am I doing here, right? Like, I said something along those lines, right? It was so long ago. And the guy stopped shape shifting, turned into a man. Then he said, I brought you here. Yo, why he said that? And I just literally told the story on the other video. I'm like, instead of me asking him, why did you brought me here? Like what you want? Like, yo, I started running up and down the hallway, like bugging out. And what's crazy is what I didn't even say in the other one is like, yo, I saw myself as this being. Like it was just like a glowy being. Like I could see myself, and then it was like I was like first person, third person type of shit. Like it was some weird shit. Cause I could just remember everything. And I'm like, to this day, I'm like, that was a different one. That was definitely a different travel, like a different that's why I'm like, he said, I brought you here. Like, so with him saying some shit like that, it just makes me kind of like think about um Stranger Things. Cause how the guy he infiltrates the people's mind. Right. And it's not like, see, it's not like he's bringing them into the upside down, like they went into the upside down. Like anybody who never saw Stranger Things, right? I'm sorry, it's what a spoiler alert, but for those who did or whatever. But this is just me comparing it to like the Astro, you know, and my dreams and stuff like that. It's someone wrote this. I don't know what inspired them to write it, but as far as people like what they said in terms of not what they said, but actually what you see, right? In terms of like the season 4, the character Vecna Henry one, whatever you want to call him, like he's in the upside down, like he controls all that, or whatever. But when he initiates attacks, it's never like in the physical of the upside down. It's always in the mind, in the dream realm, in a meditative state. Like he has to enter a meditative state to infiltrate the person's mind. And he's doing this all from the mind. So it's just like what, you know, I don't know like what made me think about that, but I just thought about how is it that someone could summons me to a dream. Like that's just my theory. That's what like cuz I like I said, I was aware that I was dreaming. Once you become aware that you're dreaming, at some aspect you should be able to control it unless it is not a unless it's not a dream and it's an astral travel. It's something that's of another it's something that's in real time or some shit like that. That's happening. You feel what I'm saying? It's like some deeper shit, like, but because how can someone do that? Like, you know, um, I don't know. That's just my theory on it. But in terms of like, why is it that when people go to sleep, they wake up and be like, "Oh my God, I thought it was so real. It felt so real." You know what I'm saying? Or they wake up and they start crying, or they wake up with certain emotions, like after you going to sleep and you see like someone that died or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? That gave you a message and you utilized that. How was that possible? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know how it's this thing called sleep on it. Like, you know what I'm saying? You get the answers in your sleep or some shit like that. Like, where is this all coming from? Is it just your mind, or is your mind connected to something else, or is it? You feel what I'm saying? Like with like with him, he kind of like he didn't initiate attacks on people when they just entered the upside down. He initiated attacks on people um with their own mind, cuz like he uh he was an upside down. I don't know, like everything is kind of like connected, like all the vines and all that shit. They call it like a hive mind. Like if you step on it, you trigger like it's like a defense mechanism or something like that. Like he has stuff that's in that realm that immediately attacks once they sense that anyone's there. You feel what I'm saying? So what he did was he was able to get to the people who actually had um like trauma or some type of thing that's like some type of thing that's holding them on to some past shit. So that's how he was able to kind of like latch on to those people. But when you ultimately look at the shit, you notice that he was able to kind of like see through everybody's mind or see certain shit, right? And it's always like, him tapping into their mind. Like this, what's his name? I think his name was Patrick. They didn't really go too much deep into his trauma. I'm talking about like the basketball player. Um one of Lucas' teammates, because Lucas, he got tired of being in there. He was like, "Listen, I'm tired. I want to be with the popular crowd." He started playing basketball, whatever, and then it was his another teammate. I think his name was Patrick, or maybe something else. And so he fall victim to Vecna or whatever, but he was getting like the flashes and stuff like that. But they never really said what his trauma was. But all you know is that he was being attacked with his mind and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? And so they didn't show what was the gateway to him. They didn't show what was Patrick's gateway. I hope I'm saying if it's him or not the other guy. I don't know. Hopefully I'm saying it right. I don't know, B. I wasn't expecting on talking about this really, but yeah, so they didn't show what was the trauma that like how they show how he died, but they didn't go into details of how Vecna really initiated the attack, because typically like the first person that he initiated the attack on was Chrissy. So she was just having like these different flashes with her moms. It has something to do with her moms. You know what I'm saying? Like I guess her mom's probably was abusive, or she dealt with some type of shit in her home life, right? So with her dying, it just showed that she was basically trying to buy drugs from the guy Rick. That's his name, Rick, I believe, right? So she went to initially meet up with Rick like in the woods or some shit like that, and she was just trying to buy some marijuana, right? Because she kept having these different visions and flashes, right? The first time it happened, she was like in the bathroom or whatever. Max was in there. Max heard her like crying or sitting down or whatever right there. She was like, Max asked her like, "Oh, do you need help?" Well, she was like, "No, leave me alone." So Max left the bathroom, right? So then somebody was knocking on the bathroom store door, and so she thought it was Max. And so she said, "I said, leave me alone." And but then it became her mother, and her mother kept saying stuff to her, and or whatever. And then all of a sudden, it changes. It probably some more stuff that happened, but that's what I remember. And so that stuff was like bugging her out. She was like seeing clocks, and she was bugging out. Like, you know what I'm saying? She was talking to the counselor. Like, she was just going through all this stuff when she was seeing all this stuff, but it was just really Vecna really attacking her mind. And it looked like it was real time, but it was really a dream. So she was really like going into like a I don't want to say like a coma, but like a state where he was able to make her believe that the shit was real, but it really wasn't. You know what I'm saying? It was just in her mind, and she was just stuck there. You know what I'm saying? Almost like kind of like in a state like, well, I can't even compare it to like sleep paralysis. Because sleep paralysis, you wake up before your body wakes up, or some shit like that. You feel like kind of stuck, but it's like they pretty much just stuck in a dream. Like it happens so fast. It's not like, oh yo, they just laying down and they go to sleep. It just happens like, yo, they in reality 1 minute, then all of a sudden they in a complete daze, like daydreaming pretty much. You know how you daydream, or you, like, let's say if you go through a traumatic situation, and the traumatic situation is causing you to have these negative thoughts or these negative memories that you don't even want to have. You feel what I'm saying? This isn't and essentially like that. You get stuck into like a certain memory that's just not good or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to bring up any traumatic experiences or anything like that, but sometimes that could kind of cause you to go into like a state where you're stuck or some shit like that. Like you could just be sitting there talking to your friends, having a good time, and then, you know what I'm saying, all of a sudden a thought come in and you get stuck or focus on that thought. And so that's pretty much how the guy was kind of like getting in. You know what I'm saying? Because it was like this trauma that they wasn't over. And with that trauma was kind of causing them to go in a vegetative state. You feel what I'm saying? To the fact that it kind of like felt like real or some shit like that. And he was able to infiltrate it. But, she thought that she could kind of like combat that by like buying drugs or whatever. So she, saying, she went to go buy drugs from Rick or whatever before the game. And, she went to buy some marijuana or whatever. But she like, yo, you got anything stronger? Because this ain't going to do. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. So like they go to the game or whatever, have the game. And then after the game, she meet up with Rick. Because Rick, he didn't go to like the basketball game. He went to his own little group, Hellfire. They had like a D&D, Dungeons and Dragons type of game or whatever like that. And so he went there, and she a cheerleader, so she went to the basketball game for the school. And so like, after that was over, he took her back to her house just to buy some drugs. They called it Special K. I don't even know what the hell that stuff is. I don't know. They probably made it up for the show, or maybe not. I don't know, because a lot of the stuff, terminologies and stuff that they use is from like the 80s and shit like that. So, but he lived like in a trailer home, so the trailer home ain't that big. You know what I'm saying? She pretty much in the living room and in the kitchen at the same time. He go in the back room, you know what I'm saying, just to go get the stuff for her, whatever, right? So she paranoid, bugging out, and she starts to hear that clock, but she don't see the clock. So she look out the window and shit, like, trying to look for the clock and shit. And so she don't see nothing, or maybe she does see it, and she closed the curtains. But then when she turned around, she like, calling this dude like, yo, Rick was taking so long, right? So mind you, she thinks she's still in awaken, you know what I'm saying? But this time she's in the day, she's back in that state, you know what I'm saying, that I don't want to say a daydream state, but she back in her trauma phase. Like she back in a she's in a daze pretty much. You know what I'm saying? She was in a daze, but it was, I would say, like she back in the dream world pretty much, in another world, the dream world, because pretty much she was there like, because in reality she's just standing there and she just in her head, like all this stuff is happening in her mind, but it feels real to her. You feel what I'm saying? So she goes to the back room. thinking she gonna find him like, yo, give me the drugs so I could get out of here. You was taking so long. But she sees her mother like, you know, sewing a little skirt for her to wear for the cheerleader. So maybe she from a family where they like, you know, they pressure her to be perfect or whatever the shit was, right? So the mother turns around. Of course, it's not her. It's like the way she looks is like demonic or some shit like that. And so she back away, go out there. All of a sudden, she's in her house. You know what I'm saying? She in the house running around. Then the guy he shows himself, right? Now this dude, he looks scarier than freaking Freddy Krueger. You know what I'm saying? Like you already know, like Nightmare on Elm Street. Now Nightmare on Elm Street, like now that's a Wes Craven. Like yo, always talk about the dreams. Like listen, when I was a little kid, I'm telling you, yo, it felt like Nightmare on Elm Street was like the top scary movie. Like, yo, I'm telling you, like this movie had you scared to go to sleep type of shit. Like scared of the dark. Like I'm telling you, son, like and you know, sleep is something that you need. Like you can't survive without sleep. You need to re-energize your body. Like that's a fact. And so the guy Vecna or whatever, Vecna, Harry one, whatever you want to call him, like yo, they made him look like, yo, first of all, he looked scarier than oh my goodness. Like you watching this late at night in the dark, you feel me? You gonna be like, yo, especially if you have an active mind. Hold up, I got a cough, man. You gotta have an active mind. Hold up for a minute. Hold on. So yeah, so what made it so scary with the Vecna dude is that yo, you ain't even have to go to bed, son. Like you don't even have to go to sleep. He gonna come for you. Like while you in school, while you whatever you doing, you could just be chilling with your family, son. Like, yo, he coming for you. Like, you know, like with Nightmare on Elm Street, Freddy Krueger, like you had to go to sleep to enter his shit. But you could essentially bring back certain things from the dream realm or something like that. So that's probably like I would say a little bit of the difference that I noticed is that like yeah, um he attacks and you don't have to be asleep. He could essentially get you to that state, like just attack your mind immediately and you'll be there. You don't even have to go to sleep. Right? So, you know, he comes up or whatever, and he saying all this stuff to her, you know, like it's time for you to join me and time for this suffering to end and stuff like that. And then he does something with that big ass hand he got, because he got one hand that's mad bigger than the other or whatever. And he, you know, take her in and he just sucks all her life out of her, like literally twists the bones and suck her eyeballs and like yo, just sucks her life from her completely. And what's crazy is before he does all this stuff, right? Because all this stuff is real time, and this dude Rick, he come out the room, he just noticed her standing there, and she's just standing there in a trance, like her eyes is just going up and down, like you know what I'm saying. You know how when somebody have a when you sleep, your eyes is closed, but when you having like an active dream, your pupils, no, pupils. Oh my God, hold on, pupils. Your pupils are moving. Your eyelids are moving very fast. I'm sorry, like that word. I, I would have to practice it. I'm sorry. Certain words, you know what I'm saying, don't come off the tongue right. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, but your eyelids, the eyelids was moving like super, super, like fast, like on some crazy shit, like just really fast. You know, when you having like an active dream, your eyes it be going up and down while your eyes is closed. But this time the eyes is open, but your eye is going up. And but it's moving up and down because there's a lot of activity because it's like this is happening in an awakened state. You know what I'm saying? Like, but you still dreaming in a sense. Your eyes is going up and down, but they made it so that the eyes is open rather than your eyes is closed, but it still shows that there's a lot of activity that's going on in the dreams in your mind and shit like that. So he trying to wake her up. He can't get her out of that state or whatever. Because you know, essentially he don't know what's going on. All he knows that this girl, you know what I'm saying, bought drugs or whatever. Needed to buy drugs and he had the drugs to sell, or whatever. But then when Vecna killed her on the other end, it was happening in real time. She went up to the ceiling. He sucked her eyes in. Her bones started twisting up and all this stuff. And he bugging out. He just grabbed the keys and just ran out of there. Boom. He didn't know what the hell was going on. You know, he played Dungeons and Dragons. You know, he wasn't a part of season 1, 2, and 3. So all this supernatural stuff is probably new to him and stuff. But meanwhile, for the Stranger Things crew, they already know what's up, what's popping. But it was, I feel like that was pretty. It was good. Cause you know, later on in the season, they pretty much found out like what basically could get someone out of that, and it was music. It was the music that pretty much opens the portal that keeps people grounded, that keep people here on earth. You know what I'm saying? How music could communicate to the brain differently than any other form, right? And that makes me think about like essentially like hearing music in your dreams, right? That makes me think about this particular dream that I had, and it was like everybody was in the streets, right? But it was cliques. It was like this clique of people. They was all together, and I remember in that same dream, it was a short dream. Hold on. It was a short dream, but in that dream, it was like a clique, a group of people that was together, right? They wasn't like my friends or nothing like that. I didn't know them. They was just like a clique together. But I remember I was in the same dream. I was trying to levitate, and I couldn't levitate. It was like I levitated a little bit, but something was holding me down. You feel what I'm saying? So I remember I had like a white t-shirt on, right? So it was a group of people, but I was by them, but I was not a part of them. And so they was like in the middle of the street. And so I remember crossing the street, and then it was like the train station. I remember it was like you know how if you ever in the Bronx, right? And you are on like 174th Street, like where the 2 and a 5 train is, or like Simpson where the 2 and a 5 train is, or even on Burnside. Is Burnside and oh god, Jerome. Ever been under the Jerome the 4 train? So no, I think it's a 2 and a 3. No, it's a 2 and a 5. No, no, no. Yeah, it's a 2 and a 5. And then the 3 is like uh The 2 and the 5 is for the Bronx, like 74, 174. Then you have like Simpson and shit like that. Um, but like the other side, the 4 train, like Jerome, like it kind of looked it like that, like under the train, like something like that. It was like the beginning of the train. I don't know if it was. No, it didn't look like the Bronx. It was just like it was pretty much just a train, pretty much. You know what I'm saying? Like the starting point of a train. I can't say like, oh yeah, when this was or what this was or how long or whatever. I can't say that. But all I know is I crossed the street or whatever, and it was this guy I was with, and he went upstairs, right? And then when he went upstairs, this music started playing. It was just like this music, and it just felt like it was something that was going on with my life, like or something that was going to happen with my life or something. It was like the music was a representation of what was happening in real time. Like, you know how when they say art imitates life or life imitates art, you feel what I'm saying? It was like something being spoken to existence or something that was going to happen. And it was not a song that I ever heard before in my life. You feel me? It was not a song I ever heard before, but it was just like this. It was it was just like a song that uh it felt like that was going to be the journey or something like that of me walking under the train because that's the direction I was headed to or something like that. But the guy, he went upstairs, then he came down, and then we was talking, and he was like, well, that's how the law of the universe work or something. He said, no, that's the law of the universe or something like that. And I remember, like, looking up the universal laws and all that shit. But that's neither here nor there. But I hear music a lot in the dreams. And what I like about that is I like to hear like creative stuff. Like sometimes I hear music that I have never ever heard before in like real life. And sometimes it's like catchy, and sometimes it's just so good. Like when you can hear some bomb ass music in your dreams that you never heard before. And let me tell you something. It was one time I was reading this book, and I had fell asleep reading the book, right? And so I had went to sleep. Oh Lord. I'm talking about sleep. I'm getting sleepy now. But I'm gonna have to take heed to that because I got a lot of stuff to do later on. So I probably do have to take a little nap. I probably gonna have to get off this live real soon, whatever. But before I say that, I'm gonna say I was reading this book, and I forget the name of the book. Maybe I'll come up and say what the name of the book was. And so I was reading it, and I fell asleep while I was reading it. And then when I fell asleep, I went to that time that the book was made in like 1983. At the time, I didn't know none of that. So I went to that time. It was like in the 80s. You know what I'm saying? And then I heard uh when I was gonna say Wendy Williams. No, Whitney Houston. I heard Whitney Houston the song, and I had saved it on a playlist, but I can't really go to it now because if I go to it, I'm gonna get out of this one. But maybe I'm gonna put the song up on the community so you can see it. So it was pretty much the time. At the time, I didn't know when that book was created. Like I wasn't really looking at like, okay, um when the book was copywritten, when the book was written. Because remember, people, you could write a book, right? And then you could republish it or bring it back out. And that's what people's been doing. Like they initially write the book in 1970, but then they keep doing like doing like different editions, but it's like really the same book. and it could go all the way up to 2020 or 2024. But this is an old book from like the 70s type of shit, right? So I had went to sleep and the whole it was like I was in the 80s, straight 80s. I heard this Whitney Houston song that, I don't listen to that song. You know what I'm saying? But I heard it clear as day in my head and everything. And everything was like the 80s. And then when I had woke up from that dream and I looked in a book and the book was written on that same was written or copywritten on that same year. And then when I went to looked up the Whitney Houston song, that song was that same year the book came out. So that I found that to be so intriguing. You feel what I'm saying? It was just some weird, crazy shit. But I'm gonna get off of here on that note. I'll probably put that on a community live because I'm getting a little sleepy and I really gotta do some things. I'll take a little nap or whatever, but it is what it is. But yeah, yeah, I'll be on here probably another time or whatever. All right, peace. How I cut this off? Wait, oh, here we go. I think I'll do this one.